posters, all that good stuff. We building up our YouTube page, so don't fall asleep on that. Dang, AD, I have forgotten the rest of it. We got AD in here.
Already, man.
No
What's
D,
going on?
no D-Ray, and Russell. No Idea Podcast. Thanks for everybody for tuning in to the last episode, and we have a wonderful episode for you here tonight. Late.
The Late Show.
This is the Late Show. This is the late shift.
That's why we talking in our late night sexy voices.
Oh yeah,
This is
sexy time.
oh, you ladies out there listening to the podcast right now and just got out the shit.
Part of me want to go ahead and give me a little hen dog, and
yeah, we should have got us a little.
ease on into the evening. It's
We
almost
should,
next
yeah.
day anyway. But D-Ray is not here today. Hopefully he's going to be able to participate on the next podcast. But thanks everybody once again for listening last week. 5 stars on iTunes, share us on SoundCloud,
Yep.
tweet us, email us, all that good stuff. We got some good stuff coming up for you. So, AD, what's going on, man? How you been over the last couple of weeks? When was the last time you was here? It's been a little while.
It's been a while, man. Y'all probably ain't seen me in what 2 episodes?
Was it 2?
Has it been 2 episodes?
I thought maybe it was like 3 or something like that.
3. Well,
Yeah.
man,
Either way, it's been a long time.
hey,
That's what's hard when you're out here getting it. When you're out here in these streets,
grinding,
grinding,
streets,
putting the axe to the whatever it is,
that's
whatever
what
that term is.
chopping
However you
wood. That's it.
You
What
know,
they say.
when you're out there grinding, making things happen.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
So we don't hold it against you.
Yeah. Oh well, some things have happened since I've been gone. We on the verge of World War III.
Oh yeah.
We got nuclear threats every day.
Yeah.
Our president has proved. Well, y'all president
Yeah, you're not
has
lying.
proved.
Can I tell you something that's happening to me? More and more white people are coming up to me, and they don't say it loud because we in Texas, so
Yeah.
they don't say it loud, but they say, "Yo, president is crazy." You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so they say it in such a way to where they white counterparts don't know that they're left leaning people.
Yeah.
But that's when you know it's real, when random white people start coming up to
Absolutely.
you. People you seen once or twice, and they just coming up to you, be like, "He's crazy. I don't know why they put him in. He gonna kill us all."
Yeah, the man is crazy, man. They should have never gave him access.
They should have
to
never
look at
gave
him.
that nigga money.
Exactly. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking that exact scene. And man, rest in peace.
Yeah, I was about to say the same
Rest in
thing.
peace
I didn't
to the
even really
man.
catch what I did until then, and then I got sad, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah.
Charlie Murphy is
Charlie
dead."
Murphy, you just called him back up for a minute though, man. He'll never really be gone because of stuff like that. We'll always remember him by. But if you don't watch out, y'all president gonna put a whole bunch of us in the same place he had.
Are you really worried about North Korea and what they're gonna do?
It's hard to say the word worry when you live in the United States because our borders are pretty well protected, whether our current president wants to let y'all believe that or not. It's very rare that the United States has ever had any attacks that actually made it inland
Right.
without us being able to wipe that out pretty quickly. We've been attacked 9/11.
Well, yeah.
And,
Yeah, I guess that was a big
that's
one.
about as far inland though as I can remember.
And even then, that wasn't necessarily a foreign, state power. That was, terrorism.
It
So,
was a terrorist thing, but-
is it true? What a record that is. Is the United States like the Floyd Mayweather of intercontinental
that's really
conflicts?
That's kind of where we at.
Or what is it? Is that right? The right term? Intercontinental conflicts, or is it just foreign conflicts? International, I guess. Right.
Worldwide conflict. Anyway, yeah, well, that's kind of how we are right now. I can't recall to memory.
Would have had to been like the 1800s, something like that, right?
Yeah,
Like when the British came through and just did us dirty,
Yeah.
burnt down the White House, and
absolutely, and that's about as far inland as they ever get. If you think about how large our country is,
right.
it would take some serious action from a country across the seas to make it to our border, land, and then literally fight their way
That's true.
across this country.
But then I guess that's part of the concern. And I'm not really concerned about it, to be honest with you. And it's probably for selfish reasons. I've done a couple of times on it. Because when you hear the North Koreans talk about we're going to bomb you and we're going to devastate you and all these things, they talking about something hitting California. You know what I'm saying? I am miles away from California and don't plan on visiting no time soon. So, I'm going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? But
shout out to all my people out in California. He didn't really mean.
But I do wonder because they talk about, getting that capability. And, Trump was talking real big about going ahead and attacking first and doing a preemptive strike, all that good stuff. And now he's backing off on that.
Yeah.
And all the experts are still saying, though, that Kim Jong, whatever from the Wu-Tang Clan, is still moving toward actually developing a nuclear weapon. Yeah. And I'm just wondering, when does somebody actually have to step in and do something? Because they say if we do a preemptive strike, or if China does a preemptive strike, or if somebody, or South Korea does a preemptive strike, that they're so close to a lot of our allies there, like South Korea and Japan and, other places, that they'll just drop a bomb on there and kill millions of people.
Yeah.
That we'll have on our hands.
Exactly.
So what's the solution there?
I don't know that the only solution is to not start it at all. That's the only solution. If there's ever a preemptive strike, especially on the nuclear level, is over.
Okay. You're saying if the United States does a nuclear strike as a preemptive strike on North Korea, then it's over.
It's over.
Okay. And so what I'm saying is if we don't do anything and then North Korea develops the capabilities to hit California, then what?
Well, no, they've got to find a way to stop that from happening. But the answer can't be, well, we got to bomb them first. We got to be, we have some very skilled, thank you for all the military,
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. We thank all the military units that go out and protect us and allow us to do what we're doing right now in the late night with the cognac.
Oh, yeah.
And
the Schlitzkowski. You ever had that Schlitzkowski stuff? Stalikowski? It's not Stoli. It's it's this cheap vodka. You get in a big jug. It make you feel like you a hillbilly. You know what I mean? When you walk out the store with it, because it's one of those jugs, they blowing and go whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that stuff is smooth.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yes.
You're not talking about Taka then, because that Taka.
No. I don't know what it's called. It's
terrible.
I forget what it's called, but it's like,
and I'm not just
discount.
I'm not trying to use the tease like that, but Taka's
just okay.
Terrible. Don't drink it.
You can mix it with anything.
That'll hurt you. But what were we talking about?
We were talking about North Korea.
We sound like we drinking for real. Y'all probably think we drink.
Yeah. Might as well be. Might as well be.
I don't have no drink. So I think that we have enough sophisticated military units that could secretly, with our allies together, if they wanted to do teamwork, they could figure out a way to infiltrate South Korea and stop that from happening.
You talking about like sabotaging the launch, or?
Well, I think that if we could get somehow close, they got to be getting material somewhere to build this nuclear weapon. We need to, somehow as an allied, nations, we need to go close down their borders and shut all that down. And as a unified front, go over there and say, hey, this is not going to happen.
I don't know where you get uranium from. So I don't know. Are they getting it from outside the borders, or are they, cooking them up, it up on their own stove?
I don't think it's not anything you can just go find in your backyard. So whoever is supplying it for them, or whoever is helping them to put it together. And South Korea's economy is not the best in the world.
You mean North Korea?
Yeah, North Korea.
Yeah.
Did I say South?
Yeah.
I didn't mean that.
Cause another kind of tangent. I got a lot of people who are in the military who are or have been stationed. Have you had people stationed in South Korea too? Have they always come back and told you about all the great deals they get on Jordans?
Oh
and
yeah, great shoes.
I got Jordans for
The same prices that
$49.99.
they can get them like the Philippines. And stuff
Right,
like that.
right,
They
right,
can
right,
go
right,
look at
right.
Nothing. Like $25.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so yeah, their economy is booming, but North Korea, right,
Yeah,
is
North Korea doesn't have
stagnant.
the economy to kind of do that. So, thank you. They, the allies, and this is really my problem, and it always has been, even in movies. The reputation of the United States is one where everybody wait, and I think I've touched this on the show before, so I'm kind of getting back on my soapbox a little bit, but everybody waits for the United States of America to decide to do something
Before they decide to.
decide they're gonna do something. When that we might as well not even really call them allies. They really just like,
Followers.
exactly. They like just little children waiting for orders. You know what I mean? Like, I was talking to 10-year-old that I'm responsible for, being the guardian of right now.
Right.
And just letting, he had the issue with saying that, he felt like he's being treated still like a baby.
Right.
And my response to that was, you are.
Right.
Because you still act like one.
I think that would fall well into the definition of a 10-year-old. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be treated, he's getting ready to go into 6th grade, which is middle school down here in Texas.
6th grade. That was my year.
You know what I'm saying? And so he's thinking because he's finna be in junior high that he should be getting junior high type privileges.
Right.
But if you can't comb your hair, brush your teeth, wash your face, take a shower when
that's the basic.
If you can't do that stuff without somebody telling you to,
right?
If you can't see trash on the floor and pick it up because you know it ain't supposed to be there,
right?
And throw out trash that if you can't do basic chores that you've been given,
then
you
might need to. Yeah, you're right. You can't really. Walk around stinking.
Exactly.
and then be like, I'm an adult.
Exactly.
I choose to stink like this.
I should be able
Wipe your eyes.
Give me more of this. Like, I should be able to stay at home by myself. Why? So you can funk up the house?
Right.
And, like, no.
Yeah.
I had to tell them this morning, I had to have that talk. And I think the rest of the world's nations is kind of like that. It's like they despise America for being arrogant. But sometimes we arrogant because we look at y'all like, what then what you gonna do?
Yeah, you're right.
Do something.
And that's the big thing with China. Like, I definitely don't agree with the 99.9999, to infinity decimal points that Trump says. But when he talks about China not doing their fair share or what have you in that instance, and I know he's backtracked even on that again, as he often does, and says, oh, well, I thought China could do a lot more, but they can't. Yeah, I still feel like China can do things. You know what I mean? They are a growing world power. And if they really, 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 really wanted to put the hammer in, they could go in and do covert things that the United States of America has been doing to the world since our creation,
Exactly.
They could start a revolution within North Korea. They could arm some people. They could get rid of Kim Jong-un,
if
RZA,
you think about
whatever.
What is the proximity? Everybody pull out your global maps right now.
Oh, yeah.
What is the proximity of Japan to North Korea versus the United States of America?
You mean China? You mean China to North Korea?
No, I'm talking about any countries over on.
But see, the only thing with China is, Japan. I'm sorry, we're mixing them up. All the Asian countries don't look or sound the same. I want to put that out there. I want to put that disclaimer out there. But
all of them.
From what I remember, and I was kind of a history major, a quasi history major in college. I thought that because of what Japan did in the Second World War, that they were forbidden from having like any type of standing military.
Right.
Is that correct, or am I making that up? I don't know.
No, I think, the sanctions would be placed on them for that.
Right.
It's true.
So I don't think that they literally can do anything
No, they can't do anything.
Besides, I'm finna look that up while we
but
talking
I'm
just to make
looking
sure.
at the map, and I'm just saying that Japan is a lot closer, and so is China to North Korea than the United States of America. And a lot of the and hey, if you're in the military out there and you're listening to us on any theory, and anything we're saying is not accurate, please correct us on that.
Absolutely.
But
save us from our ignorance.
Exactly. I mean, this is called the No Idea
It
podcast,
appropriately
for
so.
a reason. But I'm saying that anyone in that vicinity, a lot of the covert operations that we have to do, we have to use an allied country, right? We got to be able to get close enough to them and set up a military base or some outpost somewhere that we can function from, even if it's a small unit. And we got to go in there and partner with them and say, hey, we're going to come into your border so we can go ahead and take care of this and handle this. Why don't we just pick up the phone and call, okay, Japan can't do it, China over there. Hey,
right.
Hey, China.
Right.
Look, man, we not sending troops halfway across the country. Y'all close enough to y'all just go handle that, okay? I mean, right. If you mess it up, well, then I guess we got to come over there and clean up your mess. But y'all know what needs to be done, and it's gonna be cheaper for you to go do it because we ain't got to burn millions and millions of tons of gas getting over there and,
right.
and arming up, and just go handle the lightweight. And then once you get it secured, then we'll start sending some people over there to help you continue to secure it and enforce stuff. But while we got to go fly halfway across the world, we can. Yeah, they put us in a position They put us in a position where we have to control every border in the entire planet Earth.
Yeah,
and then they get mad
when we do it. Right,
and we say we're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we gonna when we start telling you what you need to do, you mad. But when it's something in your backyard that you don't want to handle, then you calling us talking about, man, can you come over here and handle it?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hypocrisy, and I definitely see that. I don't know what the solution is to it, but no, you're right. They get mad at us for having stations and all this all over the world, but as soon as something happens, they want to go to the UN and be like, well, we need the United States to step up and be the leader.
Exactly.
Like, well, y'all was talking crazy a little while ago.
Exactly.
But
you wanted us to shut down the base out there, in Hong Kong not too long ago. But
it don't make any sense.
Now you want us to come over there and handle this dictator that done rose up from you.
So do you really believe that something huge is going to pop off of this? Like, do you think that we're going to end up going to war in the Korean Peninsula and that, there's a chance that nuclear weapons get involved? Or do you think it'll all do you think Trump and his wisdom is going to lead us out?
No, ain't no wisdom
out of that situation.
Ain't no wisdom there. I think that the people with saner minds need to, which is why he's backtracking a little bit now, because some of them have gotten his ear, I believe. He realizes. The problem with him is that he don't realize nothing until after he done put his foot in.
You're right.
Then he realized he made a mistake.
You're right.
He has absolutely no foresight into, because everything with him is off the cuff.
He is. He's like pure it. You know what I mean? He's like just pure raw emotion. I'm going to fart today. And then like, you just farted. No, I didn't. You know what I'm saying?
And then when he smell it, then they're like, well, I apologize for eating them tacos, but McDonald's does that too.
He don't even really like to apologize. He'll just deny it. Like, Donald Trump or President Trump, we heard you fart and we smelled the after effects of this terrible fart. Why would you fart? I never farted. There was some people talked about a fart and I heard about it, but it wasn't my fart.
It wasn't my fart.
Yeah, and
or he likes to try to go into more detail, trying to explain it and just sound dumber. Well, farting is actually what I'm saying?
I fart. I know I didn't fart, And I don't know who said I farted, but I can guarantee you that if I did fart, I farted less than Obama and Hillary. She farts all the time. It's like, okay.
Exactly. Absolutely makes no sense. But I'd really, to answer your question, I would say I'm probably about 55%. 55% concerned, not worried, but concerned that if they don't get him to put a little forethought into how he's leading this country. I mean, I understand he's trying to be tough,
right,
and set a standard and show that we have a backbone and that we are a superpower again. That we always have been.
Right.
But he lacks tact. And he doesn't have the ability, to diminish his own ego. And so he needs to have people around him that can do that for him and keep him in check. And I think if they can do that, then they will be able to weasel our way out of a World War III or any major conflicts.
Yeah, but that's the problem, is they're not going to be able to. And really, everybody out here who voted for him, you're getting exactly what you wanted. Somebody who just doesn't care about anything. They don't care about right or wrong. They don't care about, the establishment. They don't care about themselves looking
But they
foolish.
wanted change.
Exactly. And that's what you get. So I'm sure he's got all of his 4-star or 5-star generals, whatever star I go up to. And they're like, President Trump, please, we've been doing this for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? We need to go about this the diplomatic way. Don't talk about shooting them. Don't talk about, throwing bombs. Don't talk about sabotaging them. And he's looking at him and saying, no, just like a bad infant.
Right.
And so,
exactly.
We'll see what happens. But like I said, for the foreseeable future, I will not be visiting the West Coast. God bless you folks. And
I'm going to tell you, a lot of people's vacation plans have changed since this dude has gotten off.
Oh, yeah.
People just afraid to leave.
You said people who are afraid to leave the country?
Yeah, just people afraid to leave the country and, really go over because they just don't know how people are going to react to, Americans. And it's probably an uncomfortable conversation. You can imagine going over to see the Eiffel Tower. You and your family is sipping champagne under the Eiffel Tower, sparkling at night, and people know you're a tourist.
Yeah.
They walk up to you and say,
it's because of you.
Because of you. We having to go through all this stress over here.
Yeah.
Yo, president, what I'm saying? I mean, that would just ruin my vacation. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I ain't vote for him,
I mean, I would maintain that I didn't vote for him either. But the one thing I do think of, though, is, and not to get too depressed, and then we'll add life to longer stays after this if you want to. But
oh yeah.
I mean, you wake up in the morning. I remember where I was, and I think everybody can remember where they were when 9/11 happened.
Oh yeah, just had this conversation the other day.
I was a senior in high school, late for class. As I often was. And I was putting my clothes on. I put on like Channel 4. Well, it's done now. I graduated. It's done. I was putting on my clothes and I was getting ready to leave the house. And I was like, wow, man, they really hit us. Like you obviously I was only 17 at the time. So I hadn't lived decades and hundreds of years in the history of the United States to really state this, but I just never really felt like the United States was vulnerable, or could be that vulnerable to have something happen. Like you saw on the news all the time, stuff in Africa and stuff over in Europe and stuff over in Asia where all these different things would happen, but you just never thought that something would happen here. Right. So fast forward to 2017, 2018, what have you. Can you imagine how devastating that would be to wake up on some random regular day that you thought was going to be a regular day to find out that California is missing a city now?
Yeah, that would be surreal.
Like San Diego ain't here no more, everybody.
Right. if you knew anybody there, I mean, it would be a very solemn day, you know. And I tell you, because you watch stuff on the news, and it's funny you bring that up because you see all this stuff happening where other cities in other countries get bombed.
Yeah.
Seem like regularly, they're constantly rebuilding infrastructure because we just, us and other allied countries just destroy their city every day. And
with drone strikes and all that stuff.
And you never really get a chance to see how they mourn those, because there's people over there.
Right.
I mean, we kind of take it for granted as if it's a Lego set that just got fell over.
Right.
But
it's not a Lego set.
It's real lives and real people.
Those are real folks.
There, and man, that would definitely be a very somber moment for us here in this country if that happened. I mean, it's the only time that we ever show any true solidarity is when we get attacked like that, and it's so rare over here that I think that's another reason why we rarely come together.
Well, I mean, loss of life in any of those situations is always bad, Yep. But I will say, I mean, there is, and this may sound cruel, it may sound harsh, but it's the truth, If there is a big difference between a city getting drone strikes dropped on it versus a Nagasaki, Hiroshima type deal. Like when hundreds of thousands of people, in the case of like a city like San Diego or, Los Angeles or, whatever, Sacramento, those are huge populations. Millions of people, boom, wake up in the morning, gone. Old people, kids, babies, disabled, women, men, everybody just boom, not there no more. And the after effects of that would be unprecedented in the United States.
Well, yeah, that's why, there's so much fear about World War III, because as a nation, if that happened here in our history, it would be very hard, especially with our current president, to find anyone that would preach anything close to a peaceful response.
I mean, you'd have to.
I mean, you would have to respond aggressively,
right,
quickly, and at that point, I think you open the door for constant retaliation. I mean, it's gonna go on. People fighting back. I mean, you'd have to strike them back at a point so devastating.
What, North Korea no longer
exists on the planet. And you would have to take that entire country off the map.
And the scary thing about it is that the United States has the number of nuclear weapons to make that happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you have, 1,500, 1,600, something like that, nuclear weapons in your arsenal, you can make that happen to a country that is that tiny. So, you know what? Enough with the somber talk. Hopefully, none of that happens.
It won't happen. I mean, but rest your head softly.
Can I tell you this though? And this is gonna sound crazy and bad as well, but I have mentally prepared myself to where if something like that were to happen in the DFW area, I think I'd be okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I want it to happen. I'm not saying I would be thrilled that it happened. I'm not saying, okay, here it comes.
Like, you're not wishing that on
No. But I'm just saying, should I be driving somewhere or should I be sitting in my house and you just see that big flashlight? It's just like, well, here we go. just brace for that thing, and that's really all you can do. The only good thing about it is that hopefully it's quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have what you would hate to be somebody who didn't get took out by the blast. Like, that would suck.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad. But there are gonna be people left.
Yeah, there will be.
And
but I just have to make sure I wasn't one of them. Like, I'd have to get out of my car and take my clothes and just make sure it wasn't no chance. Because, man, you don't want to be walking around here all decrepit and starving and thirsty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Don't have no water.
Yeah, you want to take yourself out, but you ain't got the strength to pick nothing up to do it. You're like, so you'd have to go.
I don't even know why we talking about
that's true.
That's just really depressing.
Yeah. Let's pause right here and let's add light to longer stays.
I'm starting to feel like we were slowly losing listeners. People were slowly switching us off. Like,
it got dark. We went to such a dark place. That podcast got so dark. All right, let's add life to longer stays. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the No Idea Podcast, endorsing Town Place Suites, adding life to longer stays. We enjoy travelers who spend a lot of time on the road. Town Place Suites makes extended stay guests' lives easier with spacious suites, full kitchens, unique home office suites, free breakfast, complimentary Wi-Fi, laundry facilities, 24-hour complimentary coffee service, and a town map to help them connect to the local neighborhood. Rates starting at $99. Allow us to assist you with your travel needs at 972-780-9300. That's 972-780-9300. Oh, and make sure you hit up that lemon water. All right, back to you, Russell.
All right. Thank you for adding life to longer stays. Continue to call the Marriott. Those are good people there. So,
get that lemon water.
On a much brighter note, today was the NFL draft.
It was, man. It was.
Right now, the draft is still going on, so we don't know how our beloved Cowboys have done specifically. But what do you think about that first pick, Taco? Tell me, Jerry, do you think Jerry picked him specifically because his name is Taco and because of the advertising possibilities and promotional opportunities for saying, come see Taco?
Taco Bell is signing him.
If Taco gets X number tacos this week, Taco Bueno will give you 2 free tacos for Taco Sunday or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Yeah, you can guarantee that's going to happen. Jared and I already thought about that. The thing I want to tell you is that the draft today is over.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, only the first round was today.
Oh, okay. I thought they went to the first 3 rounds in the first day.
Oh. Sorry about that, people. Like
I said, this is what you get when late night podcasting. This is the type of experience you get.
I really don't know why that wouldn't stop playing, but now I want to stop. But man, what was that?
We were talking about Taco Charlton and the amazing promotional opportunity that Jerry Jones will be able to take advantage of because of this kid being named Taco.
Yeah, that's already said and done. What I was actually about to transition to was the actual quality of the player. And I think I was about to tell you that rounds 2 and 3 will be tomorrow. And then 4, 5, 6, and 7, I believe, are on Saturday. They may even split that up now where they got a couple on Sunday. But the point, Taco Charlton is a very good pass rusher. Now, my problem with this, Cowboy fans, is that in the first round, you should be getting great players.
Right.
Impact players. And too often we have drafted defensive ends in the last 5 years that have not been impact players. When I say impact, double-digit sack guys.
Right.
And the closest we've gotten to that is DeMarcus Lawrence with 8. Every other defensive end we've drafted has either not played because of off-the-field issues or injuries, or the maximum amount of sacks they've hit in a season is 6.
But for just for to play devil's advocate, did you know that DeMarcus Lawrence? Did you know that all these other people were going to be the bust? I mean, at the time, they thought that they were pretty good draft picks at that time. You can always look back,
Well, they
the
drafted
past.
them in the second round, so you expect them to be starters, but you don't expect them to necessarily be dominant players. You expect them to be able to just come in and start. But when you draft a player in the first round, you're expecting that player to come in, not only start, but impact your, whatever side of the ball they're on significantly.
Right.
Because you're committing to them in the first round, a 5-year deal. It's a 4-year contract with a 5th-year option for the team. And so that means more money is invested in that player. You're investing more time in that player. And therefore, your expectation of that player is that, hey, I'm going to get top-level production from you immediately.
Right.
And I just don't know that I see that. I mentioned it before we got on the show. That I'm going to have to go back and watch a little more tape on Taco Charlton.
They're saying he's twitchy. They're saying he's fast. They're saying he's disruptive on the defensive line.
He's disruptive. He's long. He's got long arms, great size and length. I think he's about 6'5", 277. And so he's a long guy that, covers the edge really quick. Catches the edge, quickly. So he can get to the quarterback because of his long arms. He's able to keep a lot of offensive tackles off of him. They can't get their hands on his body. So if he improves his hand work, then he should be effective. And Marinelli is going to be good at doing that. I just don't know. Again, first round, 28th pick overall, I'm expecting you to come in and, I need 10 sacks, at least 9 this year, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get that to us.
Well, see, what I'm thinking is, obviously, a lot of people are real upset about the people that we lost. I'm not real upset about losing Morris Claiborne or Brandon Carr. Morris Claiborne last year looked like he might show some promise, but he can't stay healthy, and really he hadn't been here like playing lights out since we drafted him.
True.
Brandon Carr, since he'd been there, he was decent, but he wasn't really, ball hawk or anything like that.
He was consistent. He didn't miss any starts, but he wasn't a playmaker.
Precisely. Now, J.J. Wilcox and Church, I think those will hurt a little bit. But the fact that we got Byron Jones back there makes up for some of that. And I think the fact that we got Anthony Brown, and he seemed to be pretty good. I don't really feel like we're missing a bunch. Also, what's that other kid named? The white guy? I forget.
You talking about? We actually had somebody.
The one who had the pick in the Green Bay game.
Right. I'm trying to remember his name right now, but somebody was talking about him earlier today, and they said that all they could do was envision him chasing wide receivers in the end zone as they catch touchdowns.
Oh man, that's cold. But I think that's unfair, just because he actually had a pretty good season last year in his limited role.
He's had a pretty good season.
And people say that, whoever said that, that's very funny that they said that. But whoever said that is saying that as if Brandon Carr wasn't chasing people in the end zone as they caught touchdown passes.
We haven't been able to catch him playing a full game. He's only been, and man, I cannot think of his name right now, but he's only been a backup for us for the last several years. So it'll be interesting to see his production when he gets an opportunity, if he can beat out whoever, because they're going to draft a safety.
Sure. They have to. But I guess my point was just that, so now we have DeMarcus Lawrence, he's getting ready to go into his 4th year? No problem. He was getting ready to go into his 4th year, right? DeMarcus Lawrence. I know he was hurt the first year.
Yes.
He was hurt part of the second year.
Yeah.
He played last year on and off, and he was decent. And so you would hope that moving into this next year, he's more of a veteran, he's more seasoned, he's, honing his craft, and that he's going to be more of an impact player. So you put this Taco guy on the line with him too. in addition to, the linebacking core that we have right now and some of the kind of spare players that we have on the defensive line that Rod Marinelli is really getting a lot of production out of, or at least good effort out of. And you would hope that that's going to make whoever we have in our secondary look a lot better than what they have been, in recent years. So I don't feel awful about the pick.
Don't get me wrong. I don't feel bad about the pick. I think he will be productive. I just don't know if he's instant production. And that's what I was hoping for at the first round.
From what I hear and from what I've seen and from what I've researched, I think that this draft is so full of decent players that as long as we go ahead and pick up a safety, pick up another corner, maybe another linebacker, I think that'll do it. I think we'll be okay.
I love
the defense. I don't think can be too much worse than what it was over the last 2 years.
Well, not at all. I mean, you got to get some youth in there, and as long as they continue to add some youth and some people that can make some plays, and that's really the key for me. Man, I'm not looking for the big names necessarily. I'm looking for somebody that's going to actually show up on Sunday and want the football.
Right.
We got that on offense. We got plenty of people that want the ball on offense, and they go out and they show it every week. They go out and perform. On defense, we got a bunch of people that seem to sit around, other than Sean Lee, who, when healthy, is a monster.
Right.
Everybody else kind of sits back and they look like they're waiting for somebody else to make a play.
Right. I wonder why these cornerbacks and these defensive backs get paid so much money just to watch the receiver catch the football and tackle him.
Makes no sense.
It would seem as though they should not be getting paid that much money just to watch somebody catch the football. They're not even looking for the ball a lot of times.
They shouldn't get paid at all.
But I do feel like definitely in this draft, the defensive side of the ball needs to be heavily invested in, because when I look at what happened last year, we win that game versus Green Bay if our defense is 1 or 2 percentage points better than what they were. You know what I mean? And even if we'd won that game with kind of a slightly better defense, I think that we get killed that next week going up against Atlanta, seeing what they did for the first, 2.5 quarters against New England.
I don't know.
I mean, that running game was so bad. Julio Jones was doing what he needed to do out there. And if they did that to the Patriots, which I know didn't have the best defense, but it was okay, they would have done that to us too.
It would have been a shootout. I don't think the Atlanta's defense could have stopped our offense either.
Maybe.
I think they could have shut down our run game. I think we would have been able to move the ball on them at will and score points too. It would have been exciting to see. I hate the fact that our season ended the way it did, because we'll never know.
Yeah, that still was a kind of a heart-wrenching play. I can think of it right now, and it still makes me kind of feel bad.
It really does. Sick to your stomach. It's just, you're just sick to your stomach.
Yeah, the bad thing about that catch was when you saw the catch happen, immediately you jumped to, oh, he didn't catch it, it was incomplete. And then when they slow played it back and you saw the tip of that toe, both of the tip of those toes inside, your heart just sank a little bit.
Yeah, it was like he caught it.
Yeah.
He caught it, and you knew your season was over.
Oh, well, we got a little bit of time left here, but let's stop right here and let's go ahead and hear from the folks at GameFly.
Today's episode is brought to you by GameFly. If you are a gamer as I am, then GameFly is your spot. GameFly has thousands of new releases and classics available for rent for your favorite systems, including PS4 and Xbox One. Once you sign up with GameFly, you can rent as many console and handheld games as you'd like and get them delivered to your home for one low monthly fee. The best thing is, if you love a game, you get to keep it and just pay a low used price for it. No due dates or late fees. I mean, we are in 2017, right? In addition to games, you can also rent Blu-ray and DVD movies as part of the service for no extra charge. To give you the opportunity to check out their service, GameFly is offering a free premium 30-day one-game-out trial for No Idea podcast listeners. To take advantage of this, go to www.gameflyoffer.com/NoIdeaCast. Again, that's www.gameflyoffer.com gamefly.com/noideacast. They provide pre-addressed envelopes for easy returns and offer tons of games. And really, why buy 2 games for retail when you can pay about the same price and play however many games you like through GameFly? It's a no-brainer, guys. Go to www.gameflyoffer.com/noideacast for your free trial.
All right, man. So on this last little part here, we got about 18 minutes left on this late night creeping podcast episode. I think I'm gonna start doing it. I think every time, the next time, not that this is happening this time, just out of laziness, sheer laziness, but I think the next time we record, I think I'm gonna have me a little something, man. You know what I mean?
I think we should probably do that.
Just
man.
a little vodka and grape, vodka and cream grape.
Why not?
Southern Comfort and something. I'm just something. You know what I mean? It just seems to add a little ambiance to the situation a little bit. I think I'm going to move forward with that. But
we could probably dim the light.
What I wanted to talk about though is something you hit on, and really, what I'd like to do is actually get one of these individuals on the podcast as a guest for us one day, just to kind of see what it is like today. But you talked a little bit earlier about how you are the guardian of a young individual who is causing some frustration. Maybe that's the word. I don't know what the word is.
It's not just frustration. It's anger.
Right. Sure.
Disappointment.
Right.
All of those negative emotions.
All the things that I'm hoping and praying that I don't experience. But the thing is obviously you remember when you were young and kind of what the high school and the middle school and the elementary school times were like, and what your classmates were like and what the teachers were like. I remember the same. I imagine that D-Ray understands that as well. But I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people who are in the teaching profession now.
Yeah. And
what is the one consistent thing that you hear from people who are in the teaching profession right now?
Children are terrible.
Consistently you hear it. I mean, there's one individual that, and if there's anybody with sensitive ears here, I'm sorry ahead of time, but there's this one individual that I know who, is a teacher, and basically talked about this scenario where they went to class, they were having breakfast, right? Having breakfast. And the situation isn't funny. It's just so shocking that you're just like, wow, really?
Yeah.
And this is actually the person that I'm hoping will come on the podcast and talk a little bit about their experience and, why they went into teaching, if they're going to stay in it, and, if not, where they're going into next. Right. But either way, this teacher was having breakfast. One of their students came up to him because they were eating chicken and called him a coon. Like went up to the teacher and was like, "Oh, you're a coon." Another kid in this person's class saw him and realized, "Oh man, that's not what you do. You got to be respectful." Said, "Hey man, that's not cool. Don't do that. You don't disrespect your teachers like that." The kid who called the teacher the coon said to this kid, "Oh, shut up, you porch monkey." And
wow.
And so the teacher told the kid, "Hey, don't even bother about coming to class." You know what I mean? This is after years and years of being just beat down in the profession, to where they were to the point where, I don't even care. Just, you're not coming to class.
Yeah.
Go to the principal office, whatever. The kid went away. And basically what they said was, man, you know what? I hope I only got so many more days of this this year. And when it's over, I can't wait to get out, because this teaching shit is for the birds.
Yeah. Pretty much every teacher is counting down the days right now.
And so I definitely want to talk to them and see kind of really what it's like, what their thoughts are, what they think the problems are. But I think back to when I was in high school, when I was in middle school, and I was in elementary school. And I remember being in middle school, and man, there was drug stuff happening. There was sex stuff happening. There was, disrespectfulness to teachers and stuff happening. And so I wonder, I do think things are a little bit worse now just because of the technology aspect.
Yeah, absolutely.
But is it really that much worse? Or are we just old now? And so we're becoming the old, bitter people that we thought were old and bitter when we
Well, this
was
is
younger.
My personal opinion on that. And, I try to, when I impart these words to people, some people get it.
Right.
And they are open to it and receptive to it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think I'm crazy.
Okay.
But my opinion of that is that it's more we're getting old and we're forgetting what it was like to be that age.
Right.
The technology definitely
it exacerbates
it
things.
just exacerbates it to levels that we didn't have to deal with because of the access they have, the speed in which they can get their hands on things that we used to have to hunt down.
Right.
I had a conversation with somebody and was telling them,
Mm-hmm.
back in the day when I used to try to find an X-rated or
Right.
R-rated movie or
Mm-hmm.
get my hands on something that was forbidden.
Right.
It took all,
you had to really plan
and strategize how you was gonna get it,
right,
and how you was gonna keep somebody from finding out about it. And you had to work really hard, in order to get that. Now,
all you need is a cell phone.
You just need a cell phone.
Yeah.
Pull it up and look at it. Won't nobody know you saw it.
Right.
Boop,
yeah.
Gone. In seconds.
Yeah.
You can watch all kinds of just ridiculous, horrible things.
Yeah.
But.
And don't take out the camera aspect of it as well, which is really what freaks me out.
Yeah.
That's terrible technology in the hands of a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old. You telling me I got a camera on my phone and I can message and send it to you and I can do it live.
Exactly. I can do it live. I could be on the Vine. I can sit it on Snapchat. I could do all kinds.
That's
of
game-changing technology.
Live on Facebook now.
Right.
It is game-changing technology. But what I try to get the adults, at least that are my age,
mm-hmm.
Or those that have children, to understand is that the perspective. I think the best thing that my parents ever taught me was not necessarily just a specific rule, but it helped me realize, at least I can give my mama this credit, that you have to keep into perspective the age group and transition that a child is going through. And you got to be able to put yourself back in that position and figure out how to relate to that kid. And let them know what they're doing is not acceptable.
Right.
But you're not perfect. See,
right.
Too often I find parents preaching to their kids about things that they want them to do, and they come off as if they never made a mistake.
Right.
They never did anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It puts undue pressure on the kid, and the kid becomes resentful.
Right.
In my opinion. Because they're like, you really don't understand what I'm going through then because...
You were perfect.
You were perfect.
Right.
You never done that before. You ain't never seen nothing like this. And that brings you further and further and further away from the perspective of the child.
Yeah.
And if you can't put yourself in the position to see the perspective of the child, how can you correct the action? I can't stop them from doing what they're doing if I can't relate to them and show them why I know it's bad.
Right.
If I can't tell you why I know it's bad,
right.
It's why some of the best preachers are the ones that had the worst childhood and was involved in all kinds of mess when they was young because they can go talk to somebody that's been there and they say, man, I was in your shoes.
Yeah.
But I find a lot of parents are very combative about that. When you start telling them, man, you remember when you was 14.
Right. And they want to try to act like, well, no, back because I was like, it's like, no, you did it.
You did it.
And it is what it is.
Exactly. You did that. And you have to, it's a fine line, though, being able to tell a 14-year-old.
You're right.
That you had this experience.
Yeah.
And then explain why you don't want them to have that same
That's right. Because I mean, I would feel that exact same way to a certain degree, and part of me wonders. I mean, I definitely agree with what you're saying, but part of me wonders if a lot of that has to do with just the type of child you're talking to as well. Because I think there definitely are some kids who, you know, will hear their parents' admission of something that they wish they hadn't done when they were younger, and they'll say, "Oh, well, you did it."
So
Party time, you know.
I'm going to do it.
And then I definitely can see the other time to where somebody will say, "Well, you know, this is what happened to me, and I did this, and I felt terrible about it, and I still feel terrible about it, and I'm trying to avoid that for you." And I could see some type of sensitive kid saying, "You know what? I'm going to actually take that and learn from that because I can see how that's affecting you, and I'm not going to do that."
And I think the risk that you have to take is you have to do that, and you have to trust that you started laying the foundation early enough when they were, you know, adolescent, that they're going to, even if they do decide, you know, Mama said she did that,
Right.
I'm gonna go, you know, I'm gonna go see for myself. That
Right.
They're gonna get close enough to where they'll see the warning signs and say, even if they're headed down that path,
Right.
that they'll go, oh, yep, hold on, now I can see exactly how this could turn out, how Mama said.
Right.
So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna go as far as they went because I see it. And you have to take that chance, because otherwise, if you don't get to their level, they're gonna do it anyway.
Right.
And they're gonna do it, they're gonna go 100% full throttle into it, and then you dealing with picking up the pieces.
Right.
Instead of being able to come back and, you know, have the conversation. The door's got to be open for them to be able to come back and say, Mom, okay, or Dad, you told me that this was bad and this was why. And I actually went
Right.
with some friends and I saw, and man,
Yeah.
it was, and I got up out of there.
And that would be great.
You know, also, I think the part of it, and this is where parents finna eat me up on this too, transparency.
Yeah.
See, we have a good way of trying to come and tell you that I did something bad,
Right.
without giving you all the details.
Right.
And so, if I don't give you all the details, I make light of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, yeah, I used to drink,
Right.
But, you know, I had a sip of a beer once.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I was with some friends, and they trying to tell me I should drink some liquor, but instead, I just knew it was better not to. You know, instead of being transparent and saying, "Look,
I used to live under that bridge."
You know, when I got to college,
They used to throw their trash on me, and I used to have to go through old bags of McDonald's to see if the half-eaten nuggets was still there. Because I lost my job and I couldn't buy food.
or at least not that deep. Hopefully you didn't get that deep, but at least be honest and say, you know, everything is age appropriate. If I'm talking about something I experienced as a 14-year-old, I'm not going to use an example of when I was 22 and I was at college and we was wilding out Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, I need to pick an example that is relative to the stage that the kid is at.
Yeah.
You know, because if I start telling you a 14-year-old, yeah, at 22, man, we was in the strip club going.
Right.
Then they put themselves on that.
And they say, well, I deserve to do that too.
Exactly. So you got to come back down to 14 and say, man, I remember when I went next door to a neighbor's house and they tried to offer me a beer.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was my first experience being offered any type of alcohol or anything like that. And it made me uncomfortable. But they were older than me. And I trusted them. And I thought that what they were telling me wasn't going to really be that bad.
Right.
But even though Mama told me not to do it, I went ahead and sipped it. And, I shouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, and you got to be transparent. You got to tell them if there was any after effects. What was the after effects? Man, I felt really bad after that.
Yeah.
My stomach hurt. You know, you got to lay it out. And a lot of parents don't want to go that deep because then they think that kids start to see them
differently. Hold them in a different esteem.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which they're probably going to do anyway as they get older. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? This might be, I don't know if this is the one or one of the ones that D-Ray was on previously, but this may be cumulatively one of the darkest episodes. We're talking about nuclear bombs and kids. And then when I was talking about those nuggets a second ago, I couldn't get that thing out of my head from, because, we didn't talk about the Facebook shooter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking after he died and after I said the thing about the chicken nuggets under the bridge, I kept thinking, man, the last thing that man, it's not funny, but the last thing that man was chewing on before he got out the game was some chicken McNuggets from, probably half-eaten chicken McNuggets from McDonald's with no fries and maybe not a drink.
What's really bad about that is that was amazing advertising.
For McDonald's? Yeah.
I mean, it's just out there.
And with the way people have been advertising recently, like with the Pepsi people and the Coca-Cola people with Kendall Jenner, whatever that was, whichever company that was, I always get Pepsi and Coke confused. It's the exact same product. Stop lying to us, Pepsi and Coke. It's the same product, okay?
But I think Pepsi's sweeter, but
I definitely could see McDonald's coming up with some kind of dark, somewhat inspirational commercial about when the shooting started, McDonald or Ronald was there. You know and the Hamburglar like coming out of the side.
Feeding the victims of violent crimes for 22 years.
And you know what's funny about that too? And I guess then we'll end on this, but unless you have something else. But
smile, people. It's not the end of the world.
But literally, that freaked me out because that was cold how he did that, old man. My brother-in-law actually is a Q. And, earlier that day when this stuff was going on, he was telling us about him seeing it and all the brothers was saying, hey, man, if you know this dude, tell him to stop, whatever. And so when we saw it, it was crazy. But it freaked me out just to know that somebody was out because, that could have been anybody's granddad, just to think this innocent man going out picking up cans and then he's not coming home over nothing,
over nonsense.
It's wow. So I was like, man, they got to get this dude. And then when they said we don't know where he is, I was like, oh man, you know what I mean? Who knows what this dude coming to? I need to start walking around strapped. Somebody come up asking for the. What you mean you need directions? Exactly. But I was thinking, you know what? At some point, if this dude is far away from home, he gonna have to stop at a drive-thru somewhere and pick up some food, and he gonna probably get caught.
Oh yeah.
And literally, the food restaurant or the restaurant that kept popping in my head was a McDonald's. I'm like, this dude gonna be at a McDonald's somewhere, and if they don't recognize him with this picture being everywhere, then I don't know what else you do. And sure enough, he's at a McDonald's, and that employee got him with the fries. You can always get people with the fries because you just never know. Yeah. Are they BSing me? Are the fries really ready and they just lazy, or are they really cooking new fries?
Right.
He's like, just forget them. Just forget the fries. And he drove off. And, do you think they gave that McDonald's employee some kind of reward for that stall mechanism? Yeah, let me say this. Let me say this real quick. What I did find hilarious was that in the like pressers, in the pressers after the dude killed himself, the McDonald's spokesman came up and says, so Mr. whatever his name came up to the window to get his chicken nuggets. And our employee told him that it was going to be a 10-minute wait for the fries, which it wasn't. he had to put that disclaimer out there, like, nah, our fries be ready when you go to the window, but
it ain't gonna be a 10-minute wait for no McDonald's.
Exactly. But that's just what we told him.
The McDonald's.
But your fries, when you come in, your fries was ready and in a bag. You won't be waiting for your fries.
That's because the McDonald's establishment would be shut down if you had to wait 10 minutes for some fries.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was a very shocking thing to see, and I keep telling people to hesitate, but I'm really glad that guy
is gone.
Is gone.
Yeah.
Because he obviously wasn't going to be able to be helped, and I know people out there that probably know him or are close to him, are thinking I'm just that they're really upset at me for saying that right now, but. Man, the cold-bloodedness in which he was able to do what he was doing, that man needed to be gone.
Yeah, and I feel the same way, but I'm torn on it. And the reason I'm torn on it is because if you've ever encountered anybody who is dealing with any type of mental health illness, it's weird because they literally have no control over, it sounds like a cop-out to say, oh, he couldn't control it. Or when people go to jail or they go to court and they talk about pleading insanity or whatever, it sounds like a cop-out. But they literally have no control over their actions during that period of time when they're in that thing. So I know he was a counselor at a mental health clinic or whatnot. I don't know if he had something. And even if he did have something, I still know you have to do something with him after you kill somebody like that. It's just a bad situation. But I would be lying if I didn't say that I felt better after I learned that he'd been caught and that he was no longer with us. As bad as that may sound.
I mean, it's horrible. I mean, I feel for his family.
Absolutely.
His family and his friends and those people who cared about him, knew him intimately and knew the better side of him. Yeah. Before the horrific things that he was out there doing because of his illness, the better scenario has happened. He needed to be.
Yeah, definitely. If you have a worst case scenario and somebody got to go, had to be him. Yeah. You know what I mean? If it wasn't everybody get to live, that would have been ideal. But, when he did that first one, you can't have him out there just popping random people. He might have done kids or something like that next. You just never know.
And that's my next thought. Anybody that wants to try to defend against what I'm saying, think about that. If the next image you saw was him posting a live picture of walking up to a playground.
Right. And doing
taking out some 7-year-olds.
Yeah, that would have been awful.
You know what I'm saying? So, he had to go.
And end scene. The most depressing podcast and the darkest podcast.
I think we accomplished it.
In the year plus of the No Idea podcast. Congratulations, AD.
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean?
We worked hard at making this happen.
It is, and it's not something that is done easily.
No.
It takes thought, it takes planning, it takes effort, it takes the will to make it as dark as this one. We covered nuclear holocaust.
We did.
We covered terrible children.
We did.
Vices, the Facebook killer, and McDonald's chicken nuggets all in one podcast. I don't think there's too much, but I do if we can, I want to get that teacher on there just to talk a little bit more about their perspective of the industry now. So hopefully we get to have them on there soon. Additionally,
that'd be good.
Have you ever seen that movie, The Founder? I just saw that. Speaking of McDonald's. Have you seen that?
The Founder, I don't believe so.
It's the story of Ray Kroc, who is the kind of known founder of McDonald's, and then the McDonald's brothers, who actually started the McDonald's franchise out in California. Mm-hmm. Fascinating story. Ray Kroc really is a dirty guy, or was a dirty guy before he passed away. We got to talk about that. But with that being said, it is... I don't know what time it is when you listening to it, but it is 12 o'clock on a Friday right now, 12 a.m. And so we're going to go ahead and have to bounce.
Oh, yeah.
And so please go ahead and email us at noideacast@gmail.com. Tweet us at noideacast. Hit up our YouTube page, which we're trying to work on. We hopefully have some good stuff out there for you there. So subscribe to that, share it, all that good stuff. On SoundCloud, I think I mentioned that already at No Idea Cast. Repost that, share it, like it. Do the same on iTunes. Am I missing something? Oh, Facebook. Like our Facebook page.
Absolutely on Facebook. We love the love out there, people. So
absolutely.
Keep liking and loving and sharing the No Idea Podcast. Because, hey, man, there would be no Idea Podcast without you.
There would be no Idea Podcast without you.
Already.
Absolutely. And so with that, for D-Ray, AD, Russell, No Idea Podcast, we are.